silence, breaking the ruts. No sugarcoating, no softening the blow. Had to say it, no holding back. Words like fire, igniting the track. Listen or leave, it's your call tonight. Aaron's the storm, he's ready to fight. Voices echo in darkness, where honesty dwells. Aaron drops knowledge, casting his spells. Feelings are fading, lost in the fray. If you can't handle it, step out of the way. It's a bitter pill, but he's done being nice. Had to say it, no holding back. Words like fire, igniting the track. Listen or leave, it's your call tonight. Aaron's the storm, he's ready to fight. It's a bitter pill, but he's done being nice. Had to say it, no holding back. Words like fire, igniting the track. Listen or leave, it's your call tonight. Aaron's the storm, he's ready to fight. So brace yourself tight, prepare for the quake. Aaron had to say it, the truth won't break. Yeah, the truth won't break.
I had to say, or else it would just go unsaid. Yeah, I had to say, or else it would just go unsaid. If you didn't get it from me, you'd hear it from some newsman instead. I may cuss and yell, but I know what I say is right. You know what, I will fucking yell, but I know what I say is right. So long as the world be fucking shit up, I'ma yell into this mic. Left or right, don't matter, I will call you on your shit. I said left or right, don't fucking matter, I will call you on your shit. If you decide that fucking up, the gorilla's gonna deal with it. Yeah, I had to say it, or else it will go unsaid. Yeah, I had to fucking say it, or else it will just go unsaid. If you didn't hear it yelled at the top of my lungs, you got fed a crock of shit instead.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of I Had to Say It. So we're going to start as we do by saying to Iceman, Jason, Javier, Fitz McShane, El Jefe, El Devlin, El Morte, to the guys from the Weather Report, to Billy G, to Walt from the V-Rob Podcast, to Kate, the Duchess of New Jersey, to Boomer Bob, to George Fonts of the World Blaze Podcast, to Josh from New Hampshire, and to our most recent addition to the roll call, Bill from Clockham Craft Coffee. That's right, Clockham Craft Coffee, the finest coffee that I am not being paid for or sponsored in any way, shape, or form to tell you about. I just think it tastes really good and you should go buy some. That's clockhamcraft.coffee, COLOCKUMCRAFT.COFFEE. There you go. That's right, Bill. I did another promo without getting paid for it. Suck it. So anyway, we're going to start out. It's another Monday. It's Martin Luther King Day, which is completely irrelevant to anything I'm going to actually say today, other than the fact that it's a really big shame that we've strayed so far from his ideals. And the leftist retards responsible for it in a lot of ways, shapes, and forms, in my opinion, are going to hold up his name in the fact that everything they stand for really seems to counterintuitive to, I mean, I'm not trying to say the guy was a saint. He definitely wasn't. And, you know, they released information saying he was under surveillance by the FBI and he had all these depravities and declavities. But he had some really good fucking ideas. And unlike the vast majority of people today, from what I can tell, I can actually separate parts of people I don't like from actual good ideas that they put forth. So maybe he liked chasing horrors. Maybe he liked doing a bunch of shit. I don't really care. You know, guys in positions of power tend to have access to lots of women, and a lot of high testosterone guys like to take advantage of lots of women. But, you know, be that as it may, it's not something I would ever do. It's not my style, not my, you know, I said forsaking all others when I got hitched, and I fucking meant it. And that's, you know, that's neither here nor there. It's not like I'm some morally superior person. I'm probably emotionally constipated and morally bereft in a lot of fucking ways. But at the end of the day, he had a good ideal, and that idea was what you look like shouldn't fucking matter. And I believe that to the core of my fucking soul. Your melanin count shouldn't make a single iota of fucking difference of what people think of you. It's stupid. It's fucking weak-minded, low testosterone, beta thinking. Now, the problem is, all the liberal retards that'll say they're the good guys and all this other nonsense took that idea and went from, you know, quality and content of character to, because of my skin color, my ancestors were shit upon, so I need unfair advantages now because otherwise the system's built to work against me. Not, you know, the idea that we should be operating based on merit and you should get rewarded based on your qualifications and your ability to do the fucking job at hand or to deal with the task that's put in front of you. But oh no, we need special consideration because otherwise we won't get a fair shake. And the fact that I'm fucking incompetent and somebody who's actually better at it than me might not get the spot because now the system has to fill a quota. If you think that's a good thing, if you think that's progression, you're a fucking retard. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's one of those things, people will look at this and it's why I have a problem with like the DEI initiative. It may have the best intentions behind it, saying, well, all these shit upon people weren't getting a fair shake at these jobs. But the way it was implemented and twisted and perverted made it a horrific fucking thing because instead of saying they need to have equal footing, it was we need to make sure there are this many percentage of this of each, you know, subcategory in these positions, which means you have to give up more qualified people in order to fill those categories if there are not enough qualified people in the position. Does that mean the person in that position that fits that box might not be qualified? No, it doesn't. But it does generate that fucking question. It makes people look at it and go, did you get your job because you're the best qualified person for the job, or did you get it because you were there to fill a quota? It creates an element of doubt, particularly in sensitive positions that you just don't want to fucking have. And if you think I'm an asshole for it, go out there, make a commitment. Only get trained by people that got their positions because of the DEI initiatives. Only get medical treatment from doctors that got their medical degrees because DEI got them into medical school. Only get represented by lawyers who got their fucking bar passed because they got into college despite having low scores on the LSATs and everything else, but they had to, you know, fill a certain percentage of X, Y, and Z quota. And I'm not saying it has to be any one specific ethnicity, except for you don't get a fucking white guy, because thanks to that initiative, the white guys had to be exceptional. And I'm saying guys too. I'm saying white males had to be exceptional to get past the fucking extra shit. So you're actually getting, like, they had to work to, in spite of their whatever protected status is instead of because of their protected statuses. It's why I have such a problem with the entire initiative. It was corrupted and turned into just racism. So it fucking sucks. And if you think otherwise, you're a fucking... It's like I said, you should only be able to receive services from people that got to their position because of that initiative. That's what I think. And if you really believe that that's the case, you shouldn't have a problem with that because obviously they're just as qualified as anybody else. So you shouldn't have a problem making sure you're only getting treatment or services or whatever by people that qualified under that criteria. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm sure people will tell me I'm a bigoted, spiteful, racist asshole because I want everybody to be treated based on their fucking what they bring to the table, not what box they tick. I'm such a horrible fucking person. Oh my God. Morons. So anyway, it's Monday, January 19th. Why the fuck did I say? I just want this year to be over already, apparently. It's January 19th. It is the third Monday of the new year. It is what it is. Ugh. Or no, I'm sorry. It's the second Monday, isn't it? I can't math real good today, apparently. This whole not working thing has really got me thrown for a fucking loop. So anyway, there's a lot going on. The usual bullshit. The big stink in the news right now is still the goings-ons in Minnesota, which is going to be primarily what I'm going to talk about because I stopped watching professional sports years ago and my team lost over the weekend. And my backup team lost over the weekend. Like, I'm just out of the fucking football world because I don't give a shit who wins going forward. Plus, it's not like I was going to watch the fucking big game anyway because fuck no, I don't care. The NFL is full of pandering retards, and I don't feel the need to give them any of my money. And it's not like it's going to be on TV like it used to be. You're going to have to pay to see it somehow. You're either going to have to sign up for a service or go somewhere to watch it. And either way, I ain't fucking doing it. But that's neither here nor there. So not much to talk about in terms of sportball. So I'm going to talk about what's going on in Minnesota because the bullshit is still ongoing in Minnesota. And there's a few things about this that I want to talk about that it's going to keep happening. I mean, if you would have told me to pick a location for a powder keg of, potentially pushing this country to the fucking brink, I mean, Minnesota's as likely an option as anywhere else. They burned during the Summer of Love over a fucking junkie overdosing while in police custody. And so at the end of the day, it's obviously a state where in that state, I mean, once you go out into the country, I'm sure you have much more sane people. But in Minneapolis and in the urban areas, you have a governor who's a leftist retard pandering piece of shit. You have a state attorney general who is a leftist ideologue piece of shit. You have a police chief who is an apologetic piece of shit who was in tears apologizing to the Somali criminals for ISIS's actions. You have the mayor of Minneapolis telling ICE to get the fuck out because, God forbid, his voter base, which is the fraudsters and the fucking people that need to be repatriated, because they were brought here under temporary protective status. Temporary is, the time's up. They need to fucking go. And again, people will try and brandish me as being a racist or a bigot or whatever. But I would like to reiterate that Somali is not a race. Somali is it's a nationality, not an ethnicity. So I'm nationalist, maybe. I believe that American dollars should go to American people, not fucking freeloading parasitic fucking scumbags that come here and just destroy everything they get their hands on because they're low IQ inbred sacks of shit. When you have Somali people literally taking to social media, taking to news outlets that are being platformed by actual national news outlets, saying things like the Somali people are the backbone of Minnesota. No, they're not. 80% of them are on fucking public aid. They're not the backbone of a fucking thing besides a fraud industry that took the American taxpayers for billions of fucking dollars. It is what it is. It's not bigoted or biased to say the truth when it is verifiable, confirmable information. And, you're just a hateful, spiteful, mean person. Maybe I fucking am because I want to prioritize, people that actually share my values. It's not an unwarranted or even an unrealistic stance to want to associate with people who you share something in common with. And to say have a problem with my countrymen being defrauded, and this money has been verifiably traced to going to terrorist supporting organizations in Africa. So U.S. taxpayer dollars being funneled through fraud and sent overseas to fund people that are involved in utterly un-American activities. People that hate us and want us dead. Let them hate us and want us dead on their own fucking dime. You don't like it? I don't fucking care. So anyway, and this, a lot of what I'm going to talk about this week is involved around this horse shit that is still ongoing in Minnesota. Now, ICE is up there rounding people up, arresting pedophiles. I mean, literal sex offenders, people with convictions for raping children and women. And haven't heard a lot of Somali gay rape, but I don't know if that's just because they don't want to admit it or if they just would rather fuck a goat. I don't know. But yeah, they're rounding up illegals. They're rounding up, ICE is up there rounding up people that have been under deportation orders since the fucking Clinton administration that are still here. And it's utterly ridiculous that people are coming out in droves to stand up for these people. The fucking goofball broad who got herself iced and hit an agent with her car. Now, now the left is, oh, that didn't happen. And and I don't know all the details. I mean, I don't know how hard she hit him. She didn't have that much distance to build up speed, but she definitely made contact with him with her vehicle. But then they came out and said, oh, well, he had internal bleeding. Is it possible? Yeah, it's entirely possible, particularly because the guy has been dragged by a vehicle before. His internal organs might not have been completely fucking healed and much more susceptible to damage. But I don't, the left is immediately saying it's bullshit. It's a lie. It has to be because there's no way she didn't hit him with the car. And then they'll point to a video of the other agent who was involved in the incident who was standing off to the side and go, he's not even in front of the car. And it's like, no, but that's not the guy she fucking hit either, you retards. They've released the body cam footage of her hitting him. And people will still argue about it, saying she didn't do it. They haven't released the footage that her wife took of the incident, which would have showed real clearly, based on where she was standing, screaming, drive, baby, drive, that she actually made contact with the fucking agent before she got popped. I'm not going to, sit here and harp on this. It has continued to go from there. Because of this broad hitting an agent with her car while she was illegally interfering with ICE fulfilling their legally established duties. Again, this is why I don't have any sympathy for her. You don't like what's going on in the world, that's your right. You don't like how things are being handled or how the government's proceeding, that's fine. You have the right not to like what they're doing. What you don't have a right to do is interfere with those activities without consequence. You have a right to stand out there and protest. I firmly believe you have a right to say whatever the fuck crosses your empty little mind, as long as you're not interfering with shit. And this is something I keep coming back to about this situation is we have like an entire generation raised and shaped and molded by the leftist failure dregs of the previous generation, the academics who never left college campuses, never saw any activity in the real fucking world, raising these young motherfuckers to have just ill-formed ideas of what the freedoms, rights, and liberties enshrined in the Constitution and in the Bill of Rights in this country actually stand for. And instead have taught them that, their duty as more evolved people or whatever fucking lie they tell these assholes to get them to do this shit is to go out there and be, they don't differentiate between civil disobedience, protesting, and flat out breaking the fucking law. I mean, it's these morons who are out there screaming, I have freedom of speech, while they're fucking lighting private businesses on fire and stealing shit. And I'm going to try and break this down real simple for anybody who might not fucking understand a basic concept. You have a right to protest. You have a right to express your opinions in this country. At least for the time being you do. If the left gets back in control, we'll probably lose that right. You'll only be allowed to protest or express, very left-leaning, politically approved opinions because that's what they were trying to do during the last fucking administration, and there's no reason why they won't try and do it again. And this time they're going to, if they ever get control of the House again, they're going to nuke the filibuster and they're going to shove through every ridiculous horse shit idea they fucking run under. And it'll be the downfall of society. It'll be civilized, white guilt, fucking allies, fucking overly empathetic people with no actual life experience, because that's the thing I seem to find is the only way you can realistically believe any of this horse shit is to not have to deal with the real world in any meaningful fucking way. That's all I can come up with. You've been sheltered or benefited from these programs your entire fucking life, and it somehow blinds you to exactly how destructive they really are. You want to, and if you want to see an example of that, you can look at Taylor Swift's most recent offering. Now, I'm not a Swiftie. I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift, really. I thought a couple of her songs were kind of catchy when her first album came out, and then she developed a fucking cult of underage girls that were just worshiping her like she was the next coming of the fucking, the Madonna. But and I don't mean Madonna as in the fucking broad with the unshaved armpits that made a book about fucking and called it a coffee table book. I mean like the Virgin Mary Madonna. But then, she came out on her last album and she talked about some things, and the left has turned on her as fast as they turn on fucking anybody. Anybody who thought Tay-Tay was untouchable and above reproach, her last album had a song on it about wanting to settle down and have a traditional family and the benefits thereof. She had a song that basically said, I want to be friends with people I don't necessarily agree with. And the cult doesn't welcome that. The fucking left can't have people with differing opinions, because if you do have people in your life that have differing opinions, you will be forced to defend your stances. And a lot of these positions don't hold up under scrutiny, and they know it. Maybe not the fucking morons spouting the bullshit, but the people steering the ship for that side are fully aware that their fucking ideals and their beliefs don't hold up under fucking questioning. If you have people in your life that you can have honest debate with and discussions with, you have to be able to defend your stances, because they're not just going to sit there and say, oh yeah, you're right. No, you're so right. No, yeah, you're so right. No, we're so right. We're so smart. We're so much better than everybody else. It's utterly fucking retarded. So, Taylor Swift basically releases an album that says, I want to get married and have a family. And, I want to have friends that don't parrot back everything I say. And no, I'm paraphrasing. I haven't actually heard the shit, but I read an article about it, and that was enough for me to go, really? They fucking turned on the golden fucking flat ass broad. Wow. Didn't see that one coming. And I know a lot of people that are saying that, again, if you're a Taylor Swift fan, that's fine. She's just not my cup of tea. And once the cult sprouted up around her, I was thoroughly fucking done with her. Maybe she makes great music. I don't fucking know. It's a case of, meh. She just was never my fucking thing. And the poppier she got, the less I fucking liked her. If I'm going to listen to country, I like fucking outlaw rebel fucking country. Give me a Johnny Paycheck. Take this job and fucking shove it. That kind of shit. That Merle Haggard. I love that kind of, the guy that told the hippies to go shit in their fucking hats. Fuck these guys. But anyway, again, I'm getting sidetracked here because, yeah. So beyond that, you have a right to protest. I'm going back to this. You have the right to get out there and express your discontent with the system. You have a right to try and affect change by building a movement, as long as you do it the right fucking way. That's where I take issue with all these fucking self-proclaimed protesters who are actually just fucking criminals. I mean, there's no nice way to put it. The second you start causing property damage in the name of your protest, you're not protesting anymore. You're a criminal. The second you start interfering with officers in the fulfillment of their fucking duties, you are no longer protesting. You're a fucking criminal. The instant you start trying to block traffic and hold people in their vehicles against their will, preventing them from getting to go about the course of their day freely and as they will, you are no longer a protester. You are a fucking criminal. Now, to address some things that are more specifically happening in Minnesota right now in response to the ICE activities there, the instant you start assaulting people that have fuck all to do with what you're upset about, but you think they look like they might support the people who are doing it, you're a fucking criminal. You're not a protester. You're not an activist. You're not the fucking good guy. The instant you start trying to drag someone out of their vehicle, you stop being a protester, you start being a criminal. You put your hands on another human being without any basis or foundation beyond the fact that you think they might hold a different opinion than yourself, You are not the good guy. And furthermore, you are opening yourself up into entering a dimension of fuck around and find out that has heretofore been unseen in our country, but I am concerned that is going to become a much more serious issue in the immediate future, because the left has only been able to get away with this shit because it was allowed. I mean, I don't, for lack of a better way of fucking putting it, the extremist left, the people that are out here blocking traffic, fucking burning down stores, looting, fucking assaulting people, and it's not necessarily, these retards don't seem to understand using a emergency whistle or an air horn immediately next to someone's head because you don't agree with them, or that you think they're wearing a shirt with a flag on it, they must be a MAGA. We have to make sure these people suffer for being out there and having a differing opinion from us. That is technically assault, because you can damage someone's eardrum with that. That is actually an assault equivalent to a physical assault at that point. If you can cause physical harm to someone through your actions, you are subsequently guilty of assault. So, or it might be battery. I'm a little sketchy on the legal definitions of which is which. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a fucking chef. I mean, I thought about being a lawyer, but I opted out of it because I wanted to be one of the fucking good guys. I might have missed my calling. But again, I'm getting distracted here. The point being, they were only carrying on like this because they were allowed to. And as long as they were only doing property damage, I think a huge portion of the more centrist and right-leaning individuals were of the mindset of, well, these businesses have insurance. They'll be able to recoup their loss. They won't be there. Nobody got hurt. I think that was a huge segment of it, which is not entirely accurate. During the fucking Rittenhouse riots in Kenosha, I saw a guy that was trying to put his burning fucking business out get assaulted by the fucking dirtbags that lit the place on fire in the first place. So, and it was actually a building I'm familiar with. I've spent time in, and the fact that these assholes lit the storefront on fire, not knowing, because they were probably out-of-town agitators, that the upstairs building was apartments, and there were people up there sleeping because it was fucking 11:30 at night. So, again, I'm more of the mindset of even the people doing property damage need to be fucking prosecuted to the full extent of the law, and the potential of all the problems they could have fucking caused. They should probably have to answer for those too, but that's neither here nor there. That ship has sailed on those particular riots, and on the next upcoming riots, I'm sure it's going to be a case of the Minnesota Attorney General doesn't want to prosecute these people because he's one of them. The fucking Minnesota police, the Minneapolis police, have basically been told to stand down and to not interfere with them, and some of them have gone so far as to say, the mayor said that they should be getting ready to go fight ICE, which is stupid. If Tim Walz calls for the Minnesota National Guard to interfere with the legal proceedings being carried out by the fucking ICE agents, that's sedition, that's insurrection. That is pretty much the definition of starting a civil fucking war at that point. And I feel like the troops that decide to follow orders are probably going to wind up getting fucking killed by other Americans, and it'll be a fucking shame. But it's kind of the consequences of, electing people that are ideologues and driven by fucking insanity. And it brings me to the next point that I want to bring up. Now, as I've said, I'm a firm believer in the First Amendment. I'm pretty much an absolutist when it comes to it. I believe you should be able to say whatever ignorant fucking shit crosses your fucking mind. But I also don't believe in protected speeches, and I can say whatever the fuck I want, and you can't do anything about it. You can say whatever the fuck you want without the government telling you you're not allowed to. That's what freedom of speech means. It does not mean freedom from consequences. It does not mean you get to be a miserable fucking cunt of a human being to someone else, and then you can just go, I have freedom of speech, I can say whatever I want. Neener, neener, neener. No. When you open your fucking cocklocker and start spewing hateful horse shit because somebody's doing something you don't agree with in their face, there's always that possibility for consequences. There's the chance that you are going to get your shit rocked by somebody who's either better trained, better equipped, just generally better than you, and is fucking fed up with your nonsense, or you're going to cross some fucking unknown line because there's not a lot of forethought in these assholes when they're doing this shit. There's not a lot of here, we're going to target the weak and the infirm, because they're all weak and infirm at this point. If you look at most of these fucking leftist agitator motherfuckers, they're either massively out of shape, like they either look like me or they look like fucking anorexic, never, need a fucking cheeseburger and a fucking hug because they're about 82 pounds dripping fucking wet, and their piercings way more than they do. It's not a good fucking mix of people that want to be out there acting like they're going to fuck people up. The only thing they have going for them right now is numbers and a police department that won't do anything to stop them. So, but eventually they're going to reach that threshold because, like I said, people like me, people in the center, at least, I used to be considered the center. I'm definitely considered right wing by a lot of fucking morons now. But people like me that aren't going to take that shit, I wouldn't have taken it from a right-leaning individual. I'm not going to take it from some leftist asshole either. You're not going to jeopardize my health, my safety, my livelihood, or my well-being, or anybody I care about for that fucking matter. You're not going to jeopardize any random motherfucker if I happen to be in the area, because I'm at the point where I am done being like passive. Well, I mean, it might be hard to believe, but yeah, no, my kid's grown. He's an adult. I don't need to be conscientious of that. I mean, yeah, I need to be around for my wife and to support my family and all that stuff still. I'm a lot less inclined to just see something and just look the other way at this stage in my fucking life. And I know I'm not the only fucking one. And for what it's worth, you're not going to mob action me without there being consequences. I mean, I'm not the toughest guy by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not Billy Badass. I'm not fucking Chuck Norris. I'm not the person that I'm not the guy Chuck Norris checks under the bed for, when he goes out at night. I'm just a regular fucking guy. Probably a little more skilled at violence than some people, probably less skilled than others. However, I do hold a set of values that means I have something to fucking live for. I have a family I care about. I have people I want to take care of. And I have a certain moral and ethical code that will make it where I can do some pretty horrible fucking things to somebody and still sleep at night if put under those circumstances. And it's a case of, at some point, these assholes are going to fuck around and find out with the wrong fucking person. They're going to try and pull the wrong fucking guy out of his fucking car for having an American flag bumper sticker, and somebody's going to get fucking killed. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of fucking when. I'm not happy about that in any way, shape, or form. It's not something I want to see happen. I wish these fucking retards could have civil discourse like adults. But the problem is we have an entire generation of people that are stunted in a juvenile mind state who think that every disagreement is a personal attack, who thinks that anyone questioning their fucking ideology must be destroyed because their ideology can't stand up to questioning or criticism or fucking other ideologies existing. And it's a flaw that they fail to see in their own fucking belief structure. If your belief and your faith is so fucking weak that it can't deal with alternative ideas, that's a failing on your part. And these assholes just don't see it. So at some point, they're going to pull the wrong his truck when he's going into town to buy seed or some shit, and somebody's going to get fucking erased from existence. Not thrilled about it, not happy about it, not going to celebrate it when it fucking happens. I'm going to be furious when it happens because it's a bad thing. Nobody. I hate to, I don't know how to say this exactly because I don't want to make it sound like I don't think anybody should die, because I think a lot of people should fucking die. They contribute nothing. They don't need to fucking exist. If you're a net drain on society, if you're a fucking kitty diddler, if you're a fucking just absolute waste of fucking flesh, I don't really feel empathy or sympathy for you if bad things happen to you. If you die, so fucking be it. But I don't like seeing people die fucking pointlessly. If you die as a direct result of your own fucking actions, you fucking deserved it. I'm sorry. That's just the fucking facts of the matter. The reason I have a problem with what will happen afterwards, what is going to come from the fucking violence and the loss of life that will impact everybody in this fucking country. Which brings me to the other problem I have with what's going on in Minnesota right now, and that is the leftist retards have started taking up arms in the name of defending their neighborhoods from ICE. I've seen several pictures of people. There was a couple younger hood rat looking gentlemen who had a cheap piece of shit 22 chambered At least it looked like a 22. I'm doing a little, amateur sleuthing here based on the picture I saw, and it wasn't the best angle, but it kind of looked like a 22 chambered fucking AR style pistol. And it had one of those magazines where you could see inside it, and he had no rounds in it, which was probably a good thing because he also had no trigger discipline. He had his booger hook on the bang switch, as some people like to say. He had a case of, he had a magazine in the gun with no rounds in it, which was a good thing because it was pointing directly at his fucking girlfriend who was sitting next to him with his finger on the fucking trigger. I don't have a problem with the idea of leftist people owning firearms. I'm a staunch 2A supporter. I'm a 2A absolutist. I believe everyone should have the right to defend themselves. Full stop. That's the end of it. However, if you are going to have a firearm on your person, you should be at least proficient enough to follow the very first rule of fucking firearm safety, which is you treat every fucking weapon as if it is loaded and you do not point it at something you are not willing to fucking destroy. Full stop. Period. Point fucking blank. That is rule number 1 of fucking responsible firearm ownership. Everyone should know that. It should be taught to children in elementary school. Right along with don't lick the fucking wall outlets. Don't point a gun at someone or something unless you are willing to destroy it. Every gun should be treated as if it's loaded. You don't put your finger on the fucking trigger until you're ready to fucking kill something. Period. So I see this picture of this fucking hood rat motherfucker with a janky piece of shit fucking 22 AR pistol. And I say AR pistol because it had a short barrel and no fucking stock on it. That makes it an AR pistol. Short barrel rifle if it has a stock on it. And short barrel rifles are illegal. Neener for civilian use and without being registered with a $200 tax stamp. And I could look at the motherfucker's clothes and guarantee he did not legally buy a $200 tax stamp for a short barreled rifle. So it was a fucking AR pistol. But I digress. So the point being, and I've actually seen some other stuff. I've seen, Meal Team 6 motherfuckers with big fat leftist motherfuckers who are out there with ARs or AR style rifles that are definitely loaded, but actually had some trigger discipline. So good point to him. And he was, he had a AR with a fucking suppressor on it, which is lovely because honestly, the fact that I can't own suppressors in the state of Illinois makes me fucking sick because that is suppressors are PPE. They don't work like in the movies. They don't magically make the gun fucking silent. It doesn't go psst when you shoot with it. It's still fucking at decibel levels that are loud enough you could hear them around the fucking world. But at the same time, it's going to be a case of, yes, it goes from sounding like a loud ass sonic boom to firecrackers. It's still something you're going to hear. It's still a very distinct sound for the most part. And it's personal protection equipment. It keeps your hearing safe, which is why they should be, you should be able to buy them at fucking Kmart. But it's a case of, no, the fucking gun grabbers said, oh no, that makes criminals able to be more dangerous because then the cops can't identify where the shots are coming from, which is utter fucking horseshit. But regardless, so I see this fat fuck with a fucking AR kitted out with a suppressor on it, and he actually has good trigger discipline while he's talking to the news reporters who are loving the fact that he's talking about leftists take up arms to defend your neighborhoods. And like I said, I am a 2A absolutist as long as you're going to be fucking responsible with how you handle your firearms and the problems that go along with, or responsibilities that go along with it. But the problem I have with what a lot of these leftist assholes are saying, because it's not just like Meal Team 6 type guys. There are fucking Antifa assholes out here talking about take up arms. We're bringing guns to the protests so the ICE people can't kill us. I have a problem with this for multiple reasons. I mean, I believe you should be able to open carry. I believe you should be able to walk around with a fucking rocket launcher if you really want to, as long as you're responsible about it. Personally, I would rather see somebody with the open carry because then I see that and I go, hey, you know what? That's somebody I need to keep an eye on because he's walking around with a fucking rocket launcher. But the problem I have with these assholes who are screaming about we're going to take up arms to defend our neighborhoods from ICE, because they're acting like they're doing that. The Second Amendment exists to allow the citizenry to be able to stand up against a tyrannical government. That's what all these leftist retards want to claim they're doing. They're standing up against the tyrannical actions of Orange Man Bad. Problem being is what they're doing is they are standing up on behalf of foreign nationals who are being removed from this country for various legal violations. So they're not standing up against a tyrannical government. They're standing up on behalf of invaders, but according to the technical thing. And what they're doing is more akin to insurrection or revolution than it is to fucking holding off a tyrannical government, which was the intent behind the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment wasn't so you could stay armed, so you could allow foreign invaders to come in and receive aid and succor from the American taxpayer. So that sucks. It is what it is. Furthermore, and this is something I haven't seen anybody talk about, but I've been kind of unplugged from social media for the last day and a half. I wasn't feeling real great. I got a lot of shit on my plate that I need to take care of. And just everything else that's going on in my life, I just didn't really feel like spending too much time paying attention to these things. But the biggest problem I have with all these lefty retards going out and getting themselves fucking pistols and rifles and assorted firearms and taking them to their protests because, damn it, we don't want to let ICE kill us, which is completely delusional and irrational in terms of if they weren't breaking the law, they wouldn't have to worry about it because ICE is going after criminals. And if they weren't interfering with the ICE officers arresting pedophiles and fucking rapists and violent criminals, they wouldn't have a fucking thing to worry about. It's not like they're going door to door knocking and demanding to see people's papers. It may get to that point, but it's basically because they're pushing it to that point. If they would just sit back and let the fucking agents do their jobs and stay there and wave your little fucking sign and keep your fucking hands to yourself, it wouldn't be a problem. If you don't interfere directly with them, you don't have to worry about getting pepper sprayed. You don't have to worry about getting pepper balled. You don't have to worry about getting maced. You don't have to worry about getting shot if you just behave like a rational fucking adult. But they lack the capacity. So you're going to have a bunch of childish, retarded assholes with poor impulse control waving guns around at federal agents that are armed under high-stress situations, dealing with violent criminals. So they're already going to be dialed up to fucking 11. And you really think adding some fat fuck who's just wrapped in the armor of self-righteous sanctimony is going to, be a good combination? These fucking retards don't seem to realize their leadership who wants to disarm the population for a variety of fucking unacceptable reasons, including tyranny and fucking the ideals that they're going to force their fucking leftist horseshit down our throats, because as soon as the population's disarmed, that's when it starts going really fucking sideways. Yeah, if these assholes think that the leftist leadership in this country is above throwing a few of them in a fucking hole to push their agenda, they're fucking dumber than I give them credit for, because I guarantee the instant one of these retards starts a firefight with the federal agents and is subsequently wiped out, because let's face it, they're not going to fucking win unless they ambush the shit out of the fucking agents, which would be paramount to starting a fucking civil war. And they will be, you want to talk Insurrection Act, that will be a case of that city will be stomped into fucking submission instantly, which will encourage leftist retards in other cities to fucking act out. And it's just going to become more oppressive from there. But furthermore, every leftist political leader in fucking DC and in every fucking state legislator and in every fucking town hall will start clamoring for more gun control laws, because look what happens when the population's armed. Next thing you know, the evil bad ICE agents slaughtered all these people because they shot at them. So obviously the solution is to take away the ICE agents and let the illegals stay, but also we have to disarm the population so this doesn't happen again. And these fucking retards are just fucking brainwashed enough to walk right into that and say, you know what? You're right. We'll give up all our guns because the tyrannical ICE agents got taken away, so we don't need them anymore. So then, criminals will still be able to act with impunity. Nothing good will come of this. And that is honestly, that's my biggest problem with these retards arming themselves. They're going to do something fucking stupid because they don't live in reality. They live in a world where they're special, beautiful, unique snowflakes that are wrapped in plot armor that's going to keep them safe for doing their dumb shit. And it's going to fuck us all in the process. We are all screwed because they're fucking too stupid to see past their fucking face. They don't have the ability or the critical thinking skills necessary to see the next order consequences of their stupidity. because they've been raised to believe there are no consequences for what they do because they're special and they're beautiful, unique snowflakes and their cause is just and their beliefs are right. So the fact that they're fucking tools is right out the fucking realm of possibility because they're smarter than the average person. They're better than the average person. They're more fun to be around and they're fantastic fucking dancers or whatever other stupid horseshit they were getting fed when they got relegated to fucking tree number 3. It's I hate it. I hate that anybody with a modicum of common sense can see this shit coming. It's not going to end fucking well. And if you want a prime example of why it's not going to end well, I'm going to bring up something else that happened over the weekend. And I'm not sure how accurate this is based on the most recent information I've heard. But if you hadn't heard, Iran was basically having a ridiculous fucking thing going on right now where the general Iranian people were sick of the fucking bullshit coming out of the religious leadership of that country. They were rioting and protesting in the streets every fucking day. And if they went out in the streets, they were getting shot by the fucking regime. And so all they basically could do was talk shit from their balconies out into the street and yell out the windows of their houses because every time they left the house, they got shot. That's what oppression is, you leftist fucking cunts. That is the problem. When you have a government that's willing to kill their citizens for speaking out against their fucking beliefs, their ideals, and their values, that's the bad guys. That's the fucking groups you assholes are standing up for when you're screaming Free Palestine or whatever other ridiculous shit you're spouting in the meantime. That's what these goat fucking assholes you're defending that are defrauding the nation want from this country. And your weak-minded liberal bullshit is going to hand it to them on a silver platter. Especially if you manage to disarm everybody who fucking disagrees with that shit. Now, I read something this morning saying that the Ayatollah came out in Iran and said that that the revolution has been put down and there will be consequences for America because of this. And now these are the Death to America assholes who have been screaming Death to America my entire adult fucking life and most of my childhood too. I mean, since the 70s, the Ayatollah Khomeini has been out there screaming Death to America, Death to America, Death to America. The guy dies and his successor, the Khomeini or whatever the fuck the new guy is Death to America, American Satan pig dogs, fuck them, I don't care. But now, they're saying there's going to be consequences, and he's talking a lot of shit, which is really an interesting fucking approach to things, less than 2 weeks after we snatched the president out of another fucking country. Now we have a religious asshole who's not technically the official leader of the fucking country, but he is the religious leader of the country. He's the Ayatollah. He's the fucking one who basically gives the marching orders to the fucking Iranian government. And he's talking shit about America's going to face consequences for the revolution that happened in their country because their people are sick of being treated like shit. I mean, Iran went from one of the most prosperous countries in the world. It was a net lender. It was a huge booming economy until the fucking religious zealots took over and turned it into a third world shithole, which is, mirrors exactly what they're trying to do here. But that's a whole nother conversation. And the Ayatollah came out and made social media posts today saying the revolution has been put down. The fucking people responsible are going to be executed. And America's going to face consequences for it, which, like I said, is a ballsy fucking take when the last guy who said, "Come get me, motherfuckers," got. So I really don't know who the fuck he thinks he's talking to. This is not the president. This is not Sleepy Joe Biden walking through the fucking White House looking for his fucking ice cream and his fucking missing kid to sniff. This is somebody who says, you want to talk shit to me? I've got the most lethal killers on the fucking planet, the world's biggest fucking military budget, and the most advanced technology in the fucking planet to come fuck with you. And, looking at reports from Venezuela, and they're saying the U.S. was using sonic weapons that incapacitated people, and the 20 soldiers that landed killed 300 guards and all this other shit. And I'm sure some of that's war propaganda, and some of it's just, the mystique of the fucking special forces. But at the same time, none of the other countries on this planet train to the same degree that our special forces do. That's just the long and the short of it. They don't have the military-industrial complex in other countries the way we do. They don't have entire industries based on fucking coming up with new ways to fuck people's shit up. Maybe to a smaller scale, but not the way America does shit. And they don't have leaders who take shit personally when you talk bad about their mother or whatever. I mean, fucking say what you will about the Cheeto Duster fella, but he's not somebody who's making idle fucking threats. I mean, he talks a lot of shit. He says a lot of things that I don't think he necessarily means because he's a fucking troll. He is a professional antagonist. He's a business guy. He's used to saying shit to get people to react a certain fucking way, and he does it, and he does it fucking well. I don't like the guy, but I'm willing to acknowledge what he's good at. And he's good at stirring shit up and getting people to react a certain fucking way. But he's also not the guy where you talk a lot of shit and expect there to be nothing coming because of it. So we'll see how that plays out. But I feel absolutely, I was really pulling for the Iranian people. I was really hoping for a regime change there. As long as it was one we weren't fucking involved in, because nation building, love it or hate it, for all the good things about America, we don't seem to do nation building real fucking well. I mean, you look at what happened in Afghanistan, and we spent 20 years, I think like 10,000 lives and fucking billions and billions of dollars to replace the Taliban with the fucking Taliban and leave them better armed than when they took over or than when we kicked them out. So it's, like I said, nation building we're not so good at. But, kicking ass, yeah, we do that better than anybody else on the planet, and I will stand by that statement. It's not just rah-rah America. It's just a statement of fucking fact. But it's that's what I don't want to see happen in this country, and that's exactly where we're gonna wind up if these retards don't stop, step back, take a deep breath, and look at the fucking situation they're in. Now, granted, these retards are also thinking that they will be on the winning side when all of this shit happens. They think that, the third world refugees they're importing are going to look at them and go, hey, we're here because of you. Thank you. Allow us to show our gratitude, white people. And that's not going to happen. You want proof of that? Just look at the number of Somalis that were laughing at the bitch who got shot interfering with ICE on their behalf. There's a lot of videos out there. That's all you got to do is go look at them. I should really start incorporating some of that shit into these live streams, but it just sounds like a lot of extra work. If you want to see the stuff, go look at it. It's fucking depressing in a lot of fucking ways. Because at the end of the day, like I keep saying, I'm not adverse to people dying as a result of their own stupidity. I'm not saying everyone deserves to have healthy, fulfilling, meaningful lives. Everybody should have that opportunity. But if you're fucking stupid or your actions lead to your own demise, I'm not going to sit here and bemoan your death. I'm not going to say, it's a shame. It was completely preventable just by not being a stupid fuck, but that's just the way of the world. Sometimes the stupid fucks need to fucking thin the herd a little bit. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. You're not going to guilt trip me for thinking that people... I mean, I've said it a million times. Stupidity should come with consequences. It should be fucking painful. If you're going to say something fucking stupid, you should have to pay a stupid price. There should be a stupidity tax on dumb shit. It's just the way I feel about the world. It's not that I'm mean or biased or bigoted. That's how fucking... When we removed consequences from the equations, the world got dumber. When we started putting warning labels on shit like, do not eat on the fucking silica gel packet that's in your fucking electronics, what dumb motherfucker thought they were putting free candy in with their fucking stereo? That's what I don't understand. And they say, oh, well, it was to stop kids from doing it. What dumb fucking parent was letting their kid think free candy came with the stereo? Because if a kid's young enough to think there's free candy in the stereo, chances are pretty good they're not going to read that it says do not eat on the fucking packet. But we took stupidity and we took Darwinism out of the fucking equation, and it got us to this point. And then we started encouraging dumb motherfuckers to be dumb motherfuckers by telling them there's not going to be any fucking consequences for them being dumb motherfuckers. And it bothers me. We should... I don't know, just take the warning labels off of everything and let nature sort its fucking self out. But, that's neither here nor there. And something else that came up over the weekend, and this is something normally would not come across my radar. And I'm just going in the order of my notes here, so we're going to come back to something else that happened today after I get to this. But this was over the weekend. Over the weekend... Saturday night had the Golden Globes, right? Golden Globes decided to add a best podcasting category to the Golden Globes. Now, the only reason I know about this is because I saw a clip that was Bill Maher talking about it, which, or maybe, I don't even know when the Golden Globes were, because I don't care. I don't care about celebratory circle jerks coming out of the fucking Hollywood fucking machine. I don't fucking care who they think the best whatever is. I don't care who the best fluffer on fucking, what's the Avatar was. I don't care who gave the best blue handy. I don't give a shit what these fucking indulgent shitheads think of each other's fucking work. Never have, never will. Don't understand celebrity worship. It's fucking stupid. You're getting paid to pretend. Your fucking opinions aren't valid. You're fucking not any better than anybody else. You're no more valuable, no more worthy, and no more fucking important. And you guys want to celebrate each other for, oh, we're great. Look how fucking great we are. And every single acceptance speech turned into some pompous fart-sniffing bullshit where they sit there and try and spew their fucking smooth-brain politics. You're famous for pretending to be something you're not. Stay in your fucking lane. Nobody cares what your thoughts are in the fucking third world or any fucking thing else. Pompous pieces of shit. But anyway, the thing that I'm coming to about this is the Golden Globes introduced their podcast category, and the nominees were, let's see, good. I can't read with the glasses. It's the way my eyes work. I can only see about this far, but to read, I need to take them off. Good Hang by Amy Poehler. Armchair Expert by Dax Shepard, Call Her Daddy with Alex Cooper, The Mel Robbins Podcast by Mel Robbins, Smartless with Jason Bateman, Sean Hughes, and Will Arnett, and Up First from NPR. You know what you don't hear in that list? Oh, by the way, the winner, in case anybody actually gives a shit, was Good Hang with Amy Poehler. If you notice something about these noms, they're all very liberal sources. And the one that is glaring in its omission, probably the most famous podcast on the fucking planet, the guy who broke the fucking mold in terms of becoming successful as a podcaster, Joe Rogan was not nominated for the inaugural run of the fucking Golden Globes podcast acknowledgement. His name wasn't even in the fucking conversation, which just goes to show you when they're not going to talk about literally the biggest podcast on the fucking planet because, you know, the lefties decided, you know, MMA man bad because he asks questions and talk to people we don't like. But, you know, that's it. No Joe Rogan, no Sean Ryan, no, literally nothing that wasn't liberal garbage. So that just reinforces what a masturbatory fucking circle jerk the Golden Globes is. So fuck them. But yeah, so like I said, that's the order of my notes right now. And that's the thing that was semi-interesting to me, just in terms of, like I said, if it hadn't been a case of Bill Maher talking shit about it and saying basically what I just said, the fact that they just snubbed Joe Rogan outright, which is ridiculous because he's basically the reason people understand the potential behind podcasting at this point. I mean, yeah, it's been a thing for decades. Well, a decade anyway, since 2013, 2014, whenever. But you know, the most significant, the biggest financial deal ever, the biggest name guests on the fucking planet go on that show. Then, you know, then you got, you know, like Jocko Williams and Sean Ryan and any of the right-wing leaning shows that could have been brought up to this just to make it seem like it was balanced, even if they didn't fucking win. None of them were mentioned because, again, Hollywood's a bunch of circle-jerking assholes and they're fucking pathetic. But, yeah, so that happened, and Bill Maher says, yeah, this is why the left is losing, because they are just awash in their own echo chambers and sniffing their own farts where they won't even acknowledge anyone with a differing opinion. And in a lot of ways, Rogan isn't even it's not like he's super hardcore righty either. He'll talk to fucking anybody if he thinks he's going to have an interesting conversation with the motherfuckers, which is something a lot of people won't acknowledge about the guy. He never claimed to be the smartest guy in the world. He never claimed to be the fucking best guy in the world at anything. He says, I want to talk to these people because I think I will learn interesting things from them. And that's what he does. And good on him for it. It's the same thing I do with the guests I have on my show. It's people I want to fucking talk to. It's just Joe's more successful at it, and he gets, you know, bigger names. And I'm not for lack of trying. I'm going to build myself some fucking some names that are going to have some recognition on it. God damn it, I'm working on it. But yeah, so that was just an interesting footnote. And then we come to Sunday, and fucking what did John call him? The bitter fruit, Don Lemon, who is just the epitome of leftist stupidity in my mind. Gay black man married to a white guy who constantly bitches about white people and screams racist at everything that he doesn't fucking like. Becomes completely irrelevant due to his own arrogance and fucking stupidity because he tried to fucking tell Elon what was going to happen for him to do a show on X, which was a dumb fucking move because he way overestimated the amount of weight he fucking swings. Wrote a book that people were fucking reporting as littering when he left it around the fucking city of New York.
And New York, that's his people, and they still don't want to hear his shit. The guy's fucking irrelevant. He's got a podcast that he's got some kind of listenership, but nothing worth what he thinks he's worth. And he's basically a failed news media person at this point. I don't want to call him a journalist because he's really has no integrity. He's a fucking shill for the left. He's a fucking agenda-pushing sack of shit. He's a divisive fuckbag. Well, he went with a bunch of fucking anti-ICE protesters to go interfere with a service at a church because they and if you watch the clips of him leading up to this, he talked to the people before they went into the church, so he knew full goddamn well what he was doing. He knew what they were for. He knew what they were about. They were, saying they were very MAGA passing because it was all white people because they were going to an all white church, so they must support ICE and they must be MAGA. I don't know if they heard something about the preacher at the church and they, whatever their information was, I don't know because I don't care because I didn't really get that into it. But I do know this: this fucking hack goes into the church while the fucking leftist Antifa assholes are in there disrupting the fucking service on a Sunday. They're trying to say it's a protest, even though they were interfering with the mass and fucking screaming their fucking stupid chants and their slogans and interfering with people's worship. And anyone who's been watching the show for any amount of time knows I'm not a particularly religious individual. Or I say watching because I'm doing the live streams now, but listening to. Anybody who's been familiar with me for more than a passing fancy, I'm not particularly religious in and of itself. I respect that people have their faith, have their beliefs, and as long as they don't expect me to adapt my life to accommodate their fucking faith, they're welcome to it. That's my biggest problem with most of the Aloha Snack Bar folks is they seem to think the world should accommodate their crock of shit faith because these things are haram and unclean and they don't believe in them, so nobody should be allowed to do them in any way, shape, or form, which just tells me you're too weak to be around temptation. Your faith is weak and you're you're flawed by your own faith's definition. That doesn't mean I have to accommodate it. Fuck you, you weak-minded piece of shit. But I digress. So Don Lemon goes in there, proceeds to go interview the preacher while the fucking Antifa assholes are interfering with everything. And here's the rub of that. Churches are private property. These people were uninvited and unwelcome. There is a law on the books that specifically protects people in the house of worship from being interference from people that are there unwanted, uninvited, and it was written actually to protect primarily black churches from the fucking Klan coming in and fucking with them while they were in their house of worship. Now, it also had to do with, when a lot of the organizational civil rights stuff was going on, it was held in churches, which, did provide it a little extra protection in a lot of ways, especially once the law was put into place saying that you couldn't fucking interfere with people in their house of worship. It's a federal crime, and it's like the Ku Klux Klan Act or something to that effect. The Ku Klux Klan is in the name of the law because the Klan were the assholes fucking with the poor, black people while they were in their church trying to get their fucking rights. And, contrary to popular belief, I'm all in favor of, God bless them for doing what they did and saying, hey, we're just people and deserve to be treated like it. I can totally get behind that fucking message. If you're some, I don't like you because of the color of your skin, Peckerwood motherfucker, you're listening to the wrong person because I hate people based on things they have control over, not over shit they don't have control over. Now, I'm not going to say I'm not a hateful person. I am a hateful person. I hate weakness. I hate fucking cowardice. I hate the fucking things that stop people from treating other people decently. Your complexion is not something I'm going to fucking hate you for. If you act like a cunt and try and blame it on your complexion, yeah, I'm going to treat you like the piece of shit you are, but it's got nothing to do with what you fucking look like. Now, on the other hand, as with everything, there are exceptions to every rule. Now, if you're an ugly motherfucker and you're walking around acting like you're pretty and you're too good for something, no, I'm going to talk all kinds of shit and I'm going to hate on you because you're unrealistic. If you're an ugly motherfucker, you're fucking ugly. You can try and lie to yourself. You can try to lie to everybody around you. But at the end of the day, you look in the fucking mirror and you're fucked up looking. And if you try and act like you're not, you're fucking deluding yourself. And that's neither here nor there. That's just a little diversion from what I'm saying. So anyway, Don Lemon goes into the church, interferes with the thing. goes out after he's done and makes a post to his fucking social media account sitting in front of his little microphone, much like I'm doing right now. And he's like, I'm going to say it because I'm an independent journalist now. He neglects to mention that he's an independent journalist because he got fucking canned because nobody gave a shit for his fucking divisive bullshit anymore. He was not as popular as he thought he was, and that's why he got fucking canned. He didn't go independent so he could tell the truth. He went independent because he lost his fucking job. So this dumb motherfucker, as an independent journalist, I'm going to say it because I know a lot of my colleagues in established journalism can't say it. Fuck ICE. Fuck you, ICE. You're immoral. You're stupid. You're weak. Blah, 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 blah. You're under Orange Man bad, so that means you're a failed human being because you're bullies and you're bad people. And fuck you, ICE. Well, entering the realm of fuck around and find out, good old Don found out that the next day, being today, being Monday, Harmeet Dillon, who is like the state's attorney, or I forget what they were trying to put her in charge of New Jersey, and fucking Jersey fucked that. So she's like the go-to prosecutor or some shit. I forget exactly. She's under Pam Bondi. She's like the national. She basically made a post saying, "Hey, guess what, Dom? We're gonna arrest all of you motherfuckers that were interfering with this. You don't get to protest on private property. You don't get to go into a church uninvited and interfere with these religious ceremonies. So you guys are all going to fucking get charges." Now, Don immediately did what weak men do when confronted with the consequences of their own fucking actions and issued a statement equivocating and making excuses, saying he's being persecuted for being his journalistic integrity. And as a journalist, he was there to observe and report. He didn't know what was going to happen. He didn't know. Now, you can actually watch his interview with the people that did this shit and be really quickly to conclude he knew exactly what the fuck was going to happen, and he was there for it. He's like, "Oh, well, I was just covering it, so I should be covered by the journalistic freedom." And no, Don, you were fucking involved in it. You were excited about it. You thought you were going to get one over on Orange Man bad. And unfortunately, you broke the fucking law. And, yeah, so now, honestly, Don Lemon's a fucking parasite. He's a fucking tick on the ass of society. I'm not like, I mean, yeah, I think it'll be funny as shit if he winds up doing any jail time. He won't, but it would be funny if he did. Now, the fucking Antifa piece of shit who organized and coordinated this whole thing, the actual leader that Don was immediately quick to throw under the bus and go, "I wasn't a leader. I was there as a journalist. I didn't lead these people. This doesn't apply to me. I can't see any consequences for my action because I'm a journalist." Well, no, the guy who actually planned and coordinated this attack on MAGA people that were in church in their house of worship on a Sunday, yeah, I hope they throw the fucking book at this asshole, because he is literally one of those Antifa bullshit assholes who's like, "Yeah, we're going to get guns and we're going to start coming after you people and we're going to make you acknowledge us," and all this other horseshit rhetoric. And he's one of the people that I consider a fucking problem. Again, not because he's exercising his free speech, not because he holds ideas that I don't agree with, but because his stupid horseshit is going to create consequences that are going to impact my life, because his stupidity will allow a tyrannical government to become more tyrannical. And they will use his dumb shit as justification for fucking with my freedoms. And I don't like you if that's the way you think life is supposed to fucking work. So, yeah, I hope they throw the fucking book at him. I hope they put him under the jail. I hope he gets passed around like fucking currency and he's a fucking sissy the entire time he's in there. I hope the real criminals, have like Gang Bang Wednesday where his fucking hole gets stretched out, where he just, when he farts, it goes. I hope all the bad things happen to this fuck and his shitty tattoos. He's covered in fucking janky fucking ink. Don't get me wrong. I got all my inks fucking janky too, so I got no room to fucking talk. But that's because I'm poor. If I had money, I'd have better ink. For the amount of fucking janky ink he's got, there's some money involved, or else he's got somebody who's just hooking him up left, right, and center with janky fucking ink because he's covered in the shit. But anyway, I'm off track. That is, that's really actually pretty much everything I got in the tank today. I don't know. There's other stuff going on in the world. The Trump's still talking about Greenland. The fucking UK and Denmark are still saying, "Oh, we're not going to allow Trump to take Greenland," and we will fight, and we will. The UN will not allow this. And it's like, motherfucker, what are you going to do? What is the UN going to do besides try and have our troops stop us? I think these European fucks have really lost the narrative when it comes to The only reason they've been able to have their leftist retard shit happen is because they haven't had to worry about defending themselves, because we carry the lion's share of everything in this fucking arrangement. There's really no measurable benefit to the United States for this partnership. I mean, the ideas behind the UN were founded to, kind of keep the rest of the world organized, I keep saying UN. I want out of the UN too, but I mean NATO. I'm sorry. NATO's been talking all kinds of shit recently, saying if we invade Greenland and blah, 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 and NATO's going to stop us, not the UN. The UN is an entirely different fucking conversation for another day, but yeah, NATO is a fucking joke. It should have been disbanded when the fucking Soviet Union collapsed, and the fact that it's still out there and being fucking run by retards who don't carry their fair share. And literally the biggest thing Trump did with NATO, where all the leftist retards in this country are like, oh, well, he can't stand up to NATO because every single country in Europe has spooled up their defense spending. Literally, the only reason that happened is because Trump said if the member nations do not start contributing their agreed upon amounts, because they weren't, none of them were doing it. If they don't start contributing their agreed upon percentage of their GDP to the defense budget, we're pulling the fuck out. That's why they're spooling up. And even if they all spooled up to fucking maximum capacity, they are still not in our fucking ranks. Like 3 of the top 5 air forces in the country belong to the United States, and one of them is privately fucking owned. The rest of fucking Europe just, anyway. So yeah, Trump's still talking about Greenland. There's a shit ton of resources there. He's talking about buying it. He's talking about taking it. He's talking about setting up a base there, some sort of relationship with the Greenland people. I saw something today that really made me laugh, which was like, we should just send 100,000 Americans there to, live, because if there's nothing wrong with people coming across the border unchecked, then what's good for us is good for every other fucking nation on the planet, and we should just be able to send 100,000 Americans over there because the population there is only 50,000 people, and then those Americans should be allowed to vote, because that's how things should work here, because everybody should have a say in where they live. So then those Americans can vote to secede control of Greenland from Denmark over to the United States, because they will now be Greenland people, and because residency is the same as citizenship in the mind of every fucking leftist retard out there. So I think that would be actually fucking hilarious. We could actually just do that with military members. We have enough spare military people over. Just station them there and say, oh no, we live here now, and we deserve all the rights and freedoms that go with that. So we want all our free health care, and we want to vote, and we want housing, and we want all the other horse shit that the commie liberal retards are saying that you guys have. And then we're going to vote to change everything you believe in, because again, according to the commie liberal retards, there's nothing wrong with that. So, like I said, that's about all I got in the tank right now. I don't have enough hate and rage and venom and vitriol bottled up, apparently. But those are the thoughts I've been rolling around in my head. Like I said, the biggest thing I have with all this bullshit going on in Minnesota is, well, it's a two-tiered thing, really. I mean, I hope they're still investigating all the fraud that's been discovered and uncovered up there, because I guarantee the fraud didn't go away just because the fucking attention pivoted from the fucking fraud to the fucking ICE agents. So I hope they're still looking into that. I hope there will still be heads fucking rolling of it, because right now, I mean, other than a couple of people, there hasn't been anything. I mean, yes, we've charged 70-some Somalis. Yeah, no, I want the fucking, Americans that enabled the process gone. I want to see fucking perp walks and handcuffs. I want to see actual consequences, and I want to see it across the fucking country, because let's be honest, it's happening everywhere, especially in the blue states. I guarantee it's happening in the red states too. It's just more prevalent in the blue ones, because they're the people involved in it know there won't be any consequences of their fucking actions, and they've been allowed to get away with it forever, and they've probably gotten sloppy, and there's probably paper trails everywhere. I honestly think it only came to light in Somalia because the puppets they chose had fucking sub-80 IQs by and wide. When you have a bunch of fucking retards involved in your scheme, they are the chink in the armor. They are the weak spot. And, yeah. So, I think that's probably part of it. But, like I said, I would love to see consequences for this. I want to see it nationwide. I want every fucking state and, territory and agency fucking audited. That was supposed to be the deal. That was what was promised. Doge was supposed to actually carry some fucking weight. The problem is DC's still full of swamp creatures. The fucking Congress has no fucking actual incentive because particularly with you get pieces of shit like Lindsey Graham and all the fucking other right-wing swamp creatures who have been in office for fucking ever, and they're in, red plus 15 districts, so they don't worry about getting reelected because they just keep getting elected. The machine puts them forward. The fucking people that are just as bad as the blue no matter who assholes that are red till I'm dead motherfuckers are just as fucking stupid and useless, and they will sit there and instead of going, hey, you know what? You've been in office my entire adult life and you haven't accomplished a fucking thing. We're going to replace you. They're just like, well, that's our guy. And then you get fucking Lindsey Graham in office, or you get fucking Mitch McConnell, who's probably died 2 fucking years ago, but they're still propping him around with fucking Disney Imagineering cogs in his ass to keep him fucking moving. But it's just, they've done nothing because the politicians probably believe this is like a temporary, Americans will get distracted by the next shiny thing and then they will be able to go back to business as usual and fucking fleecing the population for everything they're fucking worth so they can line their pockets, benefit their donors, and enrich their own fucking power. We have a chance to actually make something happen here, but we can't get lazy and apathetic about it. We can't say, well, obviously nothing's going to change. If we don't start holding these motherfuckers accountable, if we don't, there's not a single good goddamn reason these assholes should be voting against mandatory voter ID to vote in federal elections. Not reason fucking one. In-person voting with mandatory ID. There's no good goddamn reason on the face of this fucking earth because every other civilized country in the fucking world does it. So even that argument goes out the fucking window when you get these retards like, oh, well, poor brown people don't know how to get IDs. No, that is fucking racist. It's fucking retarded and it's fucking bullshit. You go out and you ask fucking black people and brown people, do you know where the DMV is? Do you know how to get an ID? If they say no, it's probably because they don't understand what you're saying because they just got here on Tuesday. And then somebody's going to hand them a fucking ID and register them to vote anyway, even though they're not fucking citizens. It's fucking disgusting. But, it is what it is. Like I said, my biggest concern with this whole thing is these fucking juvenile retards are going to wind up fucking my life up because they're fucking stupid. They don't realize that their leadership, the party of caring and concern and acceptance and love and tolerance, doesn't give a nickel-plated fuck if they live or die, and they're more than willing to sacrifice as many of them as it takes to push their fucking agenda through. And these retards are going to go out there and wind up getting themselves fucking killed. They're not going to be martyrs. They're fucking tools, and that's it. Sacrificial pawns at best. They're fucking pathetic. So anyway, yeah, like I said, that's pretty much what I got in the tank right now, guys. So I'll give you a minute for the chat to, if there's anything you guys want to prompt me on before I go into the next part of tonight. Because next comes the recipe, and this one makes me giggle, so we're going to do it. And you'll either know why it makes me laugh or you won't. And if you don't figure it out, you haven't listened to some of my recommendations over the last year or so. You'll figure it out. So let's see, to now finally let the chat distract me. Let's see, Mad K Studios. Ken says, Wisconsin has a voter ID, and it's great. Yeah, thank God for that. Let's see, Chef Tristone. Hi, Tristan. Big lies, conservatives hate immigrants. That's true. Conservatives don't hate immigrants. Immigrants lower costs for the same corporations that line the red pockets. And it's a case of, no, you're right. I mean, like I said, it's not a left versus right thing. It's a case of they all fucking suck. There should be consequences for hiring illegals. There should be consequences for aiding and abetting illegals. There should be consequences for all of this shit. But unfortunately, money talks, bullshit walks, and our corrupt system allows it to happen. Let's see. Question 2. Who would be the most disappointing name on the Epstein file list if they were ever released? Keanu Reeves. That's honestly, I don't have a good, and I'm not saying I think he's on there. I think that would, my head would probably literally explode. He seems like one of the few actual decent human beings that made their living in Hollywood. Just a real standard, decent fucking guy. and I don't think he would be anywhere near that. He's Mr. Respectful, ad nauseum. He's if you look at any picture he's ever taken with a fan or anybody in public, his hands don't ever make contact with the person because he's a decent guy and he doesn't want to open himself up to so much as speculation. So he's a smart guy on top of it. Beyond that, I don't give a fuck. If you're on that list, I want you dead, basically. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. This is why I'll never be monetized on YouTube. This is why I will never have a massive following, because I will say things like this, and I fucking mean it from the depths of my black and fucking tainted soul. If you paid money or went to that island to do shit to children, and I'm actually going to take it a step further than a lot of people do, because they're like, oh, well, she was 19. Yeah, and you were 60 fucking 7. So that's still fucking disgusting. It's if you were there taking advantage of young, especially children, but even, legal adults that were still fucking 40 years younger than you, you're a disgusting human being. And I immediately lose any and all respect for you. And one of the big things is I don't do like celebrity worship. I don't look up to anybody and go, that is somebody who I value as being more worthy than your average motherfucker. I don't have a favorite politician per se, because I think people that say like, that's my favorite politician, that's fucking weird. If I was going to have to say anybody out of the fucking world, Ron Paul, because he wasn't really much of a politician because he just said things that were true, or Thomas Massey or Rand Paul at this point. And people will be like, oh, well, Thomas Massey never gets anything done. Yeah, because he's one decent guy in a corrupt shithole of a system. And he did manage to force through the bill that actually theoretically should get the Epstein files released. I don't know if it'll ever fucking happen, but yeah, so, but like I said, even at the end of the day, he's still just another dude. If he came, I'd be disappointed if he came out as being like, oh, hey, yeah, he's a terrible fucking guy, but it's not going to shatter me. It's not going to, like I said, it would be a disappointment, but I don't think it would actually happen. Beyond that, like I said, I don't care. If you're on that list, I want to see you punished. I want to see bad shit happen to you and everybody that's ever been related to you. And that does not have a party line to it or any sort of delineation. I want bad shit to happen to people that fucking deserve it. That's my general stance on life, really. But let's see. I didn't. What databases? You're gonna have to refresh my memory because I don't know what you're talking about. You mean the data centers? I hate this lag. And yes, they did say Hillary was the worst out of all the people that went to the island. She was there to fucking kill people, which I don't have a problem believing at fucking all. She's a fucking just soulless fucking demon, that bitch. Okay, this is my least favorite part about this, because there is definitely a delay between the chat and when I see it, unfortunately, so they get wind up with a lot of dead air, because my chat's not nearly as active as some chats, which would be a lot more interesting. Because I shouldn't say it's not always. Sometimes it's a little more lively. Sometimes you guys really seem to be doing your damnedest to try and throw me off my rhythms. But yeah, this part always kind of bothers me. Anyway, so I'm going to go to the recipe segment. If you guys want to say anything, I am actually paying attention to the chat now, so I will answer some stuff if you guys got something you want to say or whatever. Anyway, so today's... Ken says he types too damn slow. No, I just talk too damn fast. So the recipe this week... And like I said, it's kind of an inside joke for the people who'll get it. For the people who don't get it, you'll figure it out if you do a little digging. Today's recipe is going to be yum yum sauce. That's right, that tasty treat you'll get at the hibachi place. the thing that some people are embarrassed to have to say they want to order it. Well, I'm going to tell you how to make it yourself so you don't have to fucking tell the Asians how to do it. Yes, what? You are really terrible at context, wife. But anyway, so yeah, yum yum sauce. This will make about a little over a pint. It's a pint and a quarter, give or take. So 2.5 cups. So you're going to start out with 2 cups of mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons of melted butter, 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of mirin, which is a sweetened rice wine, but not vinegar. It's just rice wine. 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1.5 teaspoons of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of gochujang or chili paste. Or conversely, if you don't have gochujang or you don't have chili paste, you can use sambal, which is also good, but then it'll have seeds in it. Or you can use 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper because it's going to give it a little bit of heat. Then you're going to add 2 tablespoons of honey, which is to add sweetness because most of the recipes, this is Aaron's version, by the way, most of the recipes do call for sugar. I don't like using raw sugar. I like, processed sugar. So I use honey. I think it tastes a little bit better. 1 tablespoon of tomato paste and 1/4 cup of cold water. You blend all of it together till it's smooth. Let it sit in the fridge 4 hours minimum to overnight to get a flavor where it melds and tastes like it does in the restaurant. Keep it in a sealed jar container and it will keep for up to 7 days in your refrigerator. And this is yum yum sauce, the pink shit you get at the hibachi place. It's delicious. It's fantastic. Absolutely love it. So anyway, yes. Okay. Now that I'm catching up to what Shauna was talking about in the chat. Yes. Okay. So I have something else to talk about because this is a local issue for us, but it is going on all across the country. Jason from Horrible Designs had to deal with it for a little while, and we're talking about data centers. Now they want to put in one out by us. Now, people that use AI, people that use a lot of internet-based shit, it's a case of, data centers are kind of a necessary evil in a lot of ways. The problem with data centers is when they put them in populated areas, they use a metric fuck ton of water for cooling. They use a metric fuck ton of electricity, which doesn't really help when the grid's not currently supporting the fucking area the way it should, which is one of our problems here. Our grid goes down every time the fucking wind blows too fucking hard. It's a shit situation. And on top of that, the politicians that are taking the money to install these things in different places are saying, oh, well, it's going to bring so much money to the economy. Well, no, that's not really true because due to the extra power usage, the extra water usage, the ecological impacts of dumping hot water generally back into open water sources, so it causes ecological damage that will fucking kill the local fauna, kill off the natural algae blooms and shit in the water. It's a hot fucking mess. Plus the electric rates always go up. Why? Because they fucking can. When the demand goes up, you got to pay more to get it. That's just the way it fucking works. They're always, oh, well, it's going to offset this and it's going to offset that. No, the fuck it's not. So yeah, these data centers, I've never heard of a single fucking place that was happy they fucking got one once it was in. So if you know that I'm wrong about this and you've got a place that was like, yeah, hey, we got a data center, it was the best fucking thing we ever did, please refer them to me. I want to talk to them. I want to pick their brain and find out what exactly happened, because every horror story I've heard is about electric rates going up, quality of life going down, fucking, the internet being bogged down because it's all being sucked up by the data centers, the fucking electricity being inconsistent, spotty, and bullshit because, again, of the data centers, and again, the water that's being used to cool the fucking processing systems can't really be used for anything else, and if they dump it back into the ecosystem, it kills off the fucking natural life. Otherwise, it just becomes contaminated water, and they fucking have to do something with it, so it generates a bunch of shit, it costs a bunch of fucking money, and it basically makes life inconvenient. So if anybody can tell me the upsides of having one of these things in your town, I'd really appreciate it, because right now there's a petition going around in the area to sign to tell these people to go fuck themselves. I already signed it, and anybody that's in the area that wants to sign it, that'd be great. Maybe I'll put a link to it on the fucking one of the socials for the podcast here. And no, Ken, the yum yum sauce recipe will be on the recipes page on the website at ihadtosayitpodcast.com. Click Aaron Cooks. The recipes will be listed there. Because frankly, I'm too lazy to type up the show notes like that. So, anybody else got anything else? Come on. Oh, and I would just like to, while I'm thinking of it here, if you notice me drinking my little Echelon here, it's lower octane energy. It's their hydration version. But this is just to tie into, it took the post office several weeks to get me my fucking glasses beyond when they were supposed to be here, which, yes, they're here. I have my new glasses. I can see again. I can see clearly now. I like my new glasses. I like my other pair of new glasses. I like these a little bit better just because they're lighter. The other frames are a little heavier. But, when you buy them from a website, sight unseen, that's the chance you fucking take. But now I'm going to go off tangent here and bitch for a minute. FedEx needs to quit fucking up my deliveries. The last couple of deliveries I've had via FedEx have also been shitting the bed. They destroyed my case of replacement Echelons that were supposed to be arriving a few days ago. I got a notification they were delivered today. I went out to the porch to look for them, and then when I looked at the tracking information, they were delivered back to Tennessee because they were damaged en route and returned to sender. So, get your shit together, FedEx. I don't want to add you to the list with UPS or USPS. I don't want to have to Brown be the only option I have for companies to deal with for shipping anymore. I like a little competition. I am a capitalist. I like to have competition options, but case of no likey. All right, let's see in the chat. Shauna brought up respiratory issues from the air pollution from the data centers, and the cost of doing things falls on the taxpayers, which is definitely true with all the tax subsidies that they're giving these assholes to get them to build their data center here, due to kickbacks to the political figures, which is a crock of shit. And yeah, drones flying over the homes is, that's already going on. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the data centers, honey. That could just be local assholes. All right, I'll give it one more minute, and then, all right, Ken's on his way out. Good night, Ken. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the show. And I'm going to stick a pin in it if nobody else says anything and say, for now, that's what I had to say. Dang it. Closer, why are you not transit? Gee, guys, almost made it through a whole episode without any technical glitches. Now my closer thing doesn't want to. There we go.